Okay, we're going to move on to part 4 of developing vision and purpose. And we're going to focus today on seeds, what we're calling seeds of destiny. Now, you may have already realized that trying to identify your vision and purpose isn't always the easiest thing. It's not something that we often can just do in one exercise, one day, answer a few questions, and we figured out our complete vision and purpose for our life. It usually takes time and effort. And the longer we live, the more we understand and discover about God's purpose and vision and plan for our lives. That's typical of everyone. So in these exercises we're going through in this module, keep that in mind. It's a process of discovery. And all these things hopefully will help lead you step by step a little bit closer to understanding more clearly what vision and purpose God has given to you. So right now we're going to focus on what we're referring to as seeds of destiny, which basically just means things that God has done in your life that seem to be pointing you in a particular direction that give some meaning and purpose and direction to your life. What are some of those seeds that have been planted in your life that give you a sense of what your purpose and destiny might be? So when we say seeds of destiny, we're really talking about events in our life that give us a sense of purpose or direction. Oftentimes these seeds of destiny are things that happened in our earlier life, like between birth and finishing school in our teen years. But actually these seeds of destiny can happen throughout our life as well. Things that God has done, events, things that have happened throughout your life that point you slowly, as you add them up and look at them over time, they start to tell a story of where God might be taking you and how we might use those events in your life. So I'll try to give you an example from the Bible at first. So I'll start with very simply with Jesus. And it was at about the age of 12 that we first read a little bit of story about Jesus and what his possible calling was when his parents lost him, right? And he was in the synagogue listening to all the teachers. And he said to his parents, he was in his father's house. We start to get a glimpse of what's going on with Jesus at the age of 12. And many of the biblical figures, are in their teen years when we get a sense of what their purpose and calling is as well, such as Joseph and King David. Joseph, when he was a teenager, started to have visions, right? And things happened to him with his brothers that gave a glimpse. As we look backwards on it, we can see how it helped set him up for his future. David was the same as a young shepherd boy taking care of his family's animals, right? We see things that happen in David's life that help set him up for what God had in mind for David as well. For me personally, as I reflected back and have reflected back on my life and what God's done in my life, I see a lot of things that tend to encourage me and focus me on my purpose and direction of bringing unity and effectiveness to mission teams. Number one, I've got over 25 years of experience as an organizational development consultant in America and throughout the world, that I believe God has used those years of experience in consulting to help give me some skills and experience and perspectives in the mission world that might help the mission world as well, and teams and organizations. But if I look a little bit earlier in my life, teenage years and younger, my childhood years, starting at maybe around the ages of 9 and 10, had me beginning to work with my father in the field of human learning, how we think, learn, and remember. Already focusing on helping people to improve their performance from a very young age, getting to work with my father. My jobs throughout high school and college tell kind of a different story at first glance, because I served as a pizza cook, a deli worker, an assembly line worker throughout high school. But there was one thing that all of those jobs had in common for me. One thing that I loved about all those jobs was that I loved coming up with ways to improve the way the work was done, whether it was making pizzas, weighing out deli meat, or improving the speed and efficiency of the assembly line. I always loved coming up with better ways of doing things. And that is what started to speak to me about a purpose, right? I seem to have this natural tendency to enjoy helping to improve processes and the way things are done, and helping people to learn how to do things better. So God definitely seemed to wire me this way, and I can discover those things as I think about my past experiences and jobs and training and education, and what stood out to me about things that I enjoyed, that I was good at. And you can do the same as you reflect on your life. My first real job out of college was to be an organizational consultant for very large companies. So again, God continued to use the things in my past to move me forward with the vision and purpose that he had for me. So early life experiences help shape our purpose if we take the time to analyze them and think about them. All right. So how about you? What are the things that that God has done in your life that help give you a sense of purpose and direction?